Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to The Seasoned Vegan. I have something pretty festive and scrumptious for you, and it's very easy to make on top of that. We're going to make a kale artichoke dip, and I made mine spicy, but you can make it however you want. Here are the ingredients you're going to need to make it. We've got a whole bunch of things, but a lot of them are just like flavoring agents. So let's get straight into it. First off, we've got some artichoke hearts, and I'm using canned artichoke hearts, but feel free to use frozen if you prefer. And we've got some kale. This is lacinato kale. You could also use curly kale. I don't really think it matters. I just love this. I love lacinato kale. I think it's so pretty. And then to make mine spicy, I'm going to be using my peperoncinis, and we've got some cashews, which is like the kind of base of the dip here. That's how we're going to make it very creamy, and then water for blending. Now let's move over here to our flavoring agents. So this is what's going to go into our cashew, dip. So we've got some miso. Also, guys, if you're vegan, I highly recommend picking up some miso to keep in the back of your fridge. It is such a powerful flavor agent. And then we've got some lemon juice as well as some lemon zest mixed in there too. We have some Dijon mustard, onion powder, salt and pepper, and then 4 cloves of garlic. And I do want my dip to have kind of like a gooey feel to it, so I'm going to add in some tapioca flour and then some nutritional yeast to give it a lot of cheesy flavor. Okay, so that is it in terms of ingredients for the dip, and then olive oil as well, I forgot, and some bread, whatever kind of toast or crackers you want. So let's move into the first step. We are going to finely chop our kale, and I like to do it in very small pieces because I think it just adds a really good bite to the dip, and it doesn't, you don't want any big pieces of kale in your dip. After you finally chop your kale, you're going to move into chopping your artichoke hearts. So this is what they look like coming out of the can. I'm just going to toss this whole big pile down, and they were kind of they were very wet because they were sitting in brine. So what I did was I just kind of squeezed them. I squeezed out as much of that moisture as I could. And now we're going to move on to the next step, which is mincing our garlic. Bada boom, bada bang. Very easy. Now what we're going to do at this point is just set all of this aside, because before we start sauteing all of our vegetables, we're going to blend up our cashew mixture. So we're going to basically add all the remaining ingredients to this blender, blend it all up. Here are my peperoncinis going in. I'm putting 3 peperoncinis in, and it did come out really, really spicy. So just a heads up, 3 are going into the blended mixture, and then I put another 3 into, I'm going to chop these up a little later. I'll show you that later on in the video, but that could have been why mine was so spicy. However, I loved it, but it's up to you how many peperoncinis you want to put in. That's going to be your spicy element. All right, I'm also putting in my miso, my lemon juice, lemon zest. Here goes my Dijon mustard. What else? We've got our onion powder and our salt and pepper. All right, and now let's get into our cashews. These cashews have been boiling, or not boiling, but soaking in boiling water for about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. So I went ahead and I strained them, got rid of that water, and I threw it into the blender as well. There goes my nutritional yeast, and I'm just going to get this nice and blended up. I want it to be pourable, but kind of thick. I want it to stick to my finger when I put my finger in there. Oh, and then also our tapioca starch, which is going to give our dip a very gooey feel. Okay, so there we go. The next step is to chop up the remaining peperoncinis, the ones that we did not put into the blender. If you don't want yours to be as spicy, I would add maybe 1 or 2. You're going to have to just trust yourself on that one. You're going to have to do what you want, but I went in with the spice, and you guys, oh my God, it was so good. Okay, so the next step is to put the artichoke hearts and the peperoncinis that are both chopped into your pan with a little bit of olive oil. I want to say I used maybe 3 tablespoons of olive oil for this. But that's just personal preference, do what you want to do. And you're going to saute this for about, 2 minutes. And then after those 2 minutes, the next step is putting in our garlic. And I just let that saute for, I want to say like 45 seconds. It was very, very brief before I put in my kale next. And I went ahead and I cooked up the kale maybe like 3 minutes until it started to wilt and get kind of brighter in color. And then at that point, it should look like this. Nice and wilted, kind of cooked through, cooked down. And at this point, we're just going to add in that cashew cheese mixture. And we want to keep the heat on at this point, but maybe turn it down to low until everything is well combined and everything is heated through. And you will notice that it starts to thicken because of that tapioca starch. So once that happens, go ahead and turn it off and remove it from heat. And it's done, you guys. It's done at that point. So I just like to put it straight into the serving dish that I'll be using. Just like so. I'm putting it in this pie dish. This time around, I thought it would be easy to eat this way and it would look good. And also I can just stick some foil on it when I'm done and put it in the fridge and save it for later. So the next step, you guys, is to just enjoy it. Just get some toast, get some crackers, and enjoy. This stuff is so dang good. If you have like a holiday party to go to, or maybe you're throwing a party, this is such a good appetizer. It is spicy and creamy and full of delicious vegetables. It is really, really good. Well, that's about it, you guys. That is how you make spicy kale artichoke dip. Also, we're not going to talk about olive captain's fur on my black sweater, okay? I didn't really realize until I was editing. I assume that that's kind of just my reality now. That's what I always look like walking around, just covered in husky fur. Anyway, guys, that's it. Please subscribe. I make weekly vegan recipe videos just for you because I love you. All right, you guys, I will see you next time. Bye.